Hell's Kitchen has seen its fair share of questionable dishes. But what this team had to suffer through was the worst. The spotlight on today's list of the most disgusting dishes is on Season 3, Episode 3. After the men's team lost the food tasting challenge, where they miserably struggled to identify a bunch of really basic ingredients, they were subjected to eating exotic animal parts as punishment. And trust me, it was a hard pill to swallow, quite literally.
Beef liver, tongue, pig's feet, tripe, kidneys. Oof, fucking hell.
Now, these are consumed as delicacies in some parts of the world, but definitely not in theirs. And I'm sure none of them were expecting that.
Your palates are shit. So, taste everything.
Not even the women from the other team.
It's pretty bad. I mean, tongue and liver and kidneys, they just make me.
Meanwhile, the sous chef was well aware that these guys weren't tough enough to handle the punishment, so what did he do? Well, you have to see this.
Here's your barf bags in case your stomach can't handle it.
They were provided with barf bags because just in case someone couldn't handle it, you know. And well, there was more than one contestant who came close to making good use of it.
Be the man and throw it up. I'll hold back.
It was the most disgusting experience I've had in my life. I need to use the restroom.
Meanwhile, viewers raised eyebrows, wondering about the culinary expertise of the contestants on the show. Would you be able to handle any of them? If you ask me, I'd be the first in line for using the barf bag. But if you are among those who are brave enough to try them, make sure to drop a like, subscribe, and turn on my post notifications. I mean, come on guys, let's get this video to 10,000 likes. And for that, I really need your love and support. Now, if you're one of those people who love to try such exotic food, make sure to hop on my channel's Discord server and let me know what the most whacked out food you've ever tried is. Also, do you think the producers of the show went too far with these punishments? Well, that's definitely a thought that crossed my mind when the red team lost the challenge and had to face one of the worst punishments I've ever seen. If you remember, Barbie's association with sifting through garbage was unforgettable. Despite winning a challenge that required contestants to create a quick dish on a tight budget, Dana was the only one spared from the unpleasant task of digging through a garbage dumpster to separate the trash from the recycling. While Christina and Justin were visibly repulsed, Barbie seemed surprisingly unfazed by the task.
This is what every Friday is like. Waste vegetable oil and compost. I do this at home.
In her own words, seriously, this is what every Friday is like. You get really familiar with the smell. And no, she wasn't kidding. Dana did not hold back her feelings when she walked past the dumpster task for her reward.
You're a dumpster diver! Barbie, I like your goggles.
However, Barbie wasn't pleased with the condescending tone.
She would have done nothing but whine and cry and bitch and moan and make me want to throw her in the dumpster.
Later on, when Justin almost vomited at the sight of the maggots in the trash, Barbie clapped back with a hell of a response.
If you puke, just make sure you do it in the organic one, all right?
That's what I'm thinking about right now. I'm gonna recycle my throw up.
Oh yeah, you have to agree. The dynamics and interactions among contestants on the show can really make the most unpleasant challenges fun to watch. However, sadly, her ease with the trash-related challenge didn't prevent her from being eliminated from the competition.
Please give me a jacket.
Thank you, Chef. Bye, guys. Here, Barbie.
Despite being promised that 2 chefs would leave, Barbie was the first to go. It's wild how unpredictable the show can get sometimes, right? Speaking of, when it comes to this contestant, his random outburst turned out to be one of the most dramatic moments the show has ever seen. Now, Dewberry's time on the show was marked by his apparent lack of culinary skills. Even more frustrating was his tendency to avoid teamwork and seize the earliest opportunity to abandon ship when the going got tough. So yeah, Dewberry's behavior was far whinier than even the most petulant of children. And his choice of baked spaghetti for the signature dish challenge didn't sit very well with Chef Ramsay.
This is what?
It's a baked spaghetti.
He was fuming.
It's completely overcooked.
Is it?
That's just like children's food. Really bad.
Chef Ramsay expected more sophistication, suggesting options like lobster spaghetti or seafood linguine for a more fine dining approach. Not only did Dewberry's dish lack any sort of refinement whatsoever, but he also struggled to execute the basic preparation of baked spaghetti correctly. This lack of competence raised concerns about his ability to handle more complex dishes like beef Wellington or soufflés later on down the line.
Like one big overgrown muffin, just standing there. Can you help them a little bit? No?
Yikes, that must have stung really bad. But guess what? It just went to show how strong Chef Ramsay's frustration with Dewberry's consistent lackluster performance was. And that same performance would eventually lead to his team's failure. Speaking of disgusting moments, I can't help but bring up this next contestant. Jason Underwood's reputation as the most disliked chef of season 4 stemmed from his blatant misogyny and disrespectful behavior towards women. All in all, everything about this man was disgusting. And I'm not even talking about his food yet. His poor attitude quickly earned the ire of the entire Red Team, which, by the way, was entirely female. Not only did Jason refuse to contribute to the team's success, but he also displayed arrogance despite a lack of culinary talent.
Jason was like a magician. He kind of disappeared. What the f*** you thinking?
His contempt for women was evident from the start, with Jason intending to use any prize money to beat women away with a stick. I mean, who even talks like that? Throughout his time on the show, he consistently made misogynistic comments, attempting to degrade and belittle his female teammates. Like for instance, that one time when he made this comment that was just straight up repulsive.
The only thing I'm gonna lose to a woman is like an ironing contest.
His comment implied that women are only suited for domestic roles. Jason's behavior showcased a toxic and offensive attitude that clashed with the collaborative and supportive environment expected in any competition. However, Jason's belief in his skills were overshadowed by his reliability issues as demonstrated during his first dinner service.
Jason was like a magician. He kind of disappeared. What the f*** you thinking?
Instead of just focusing on his responsibilities in the kitchen, he decided to take a break outside to smoke, leaving his team in a lurch when they needed him most. It's safe to say that nobody was happy with his attitude. Upon his return, Jason's performance on the appetizer station was subpar at best, particularly with the risotto dish.
What is that?
The little burnt bits or something in there.
Oh my god. The rice is overcooked.
And that's when Chef Ramsay, frustrated by Jason's failures, called him out.
You can't even get two fucking dishes together. That's how shit you've been. I just want to go with some food!
Despite eventually producing an acceptable risotto, Jason's overall performance had already negatively impacted his team. However, Jason had different plans in mind. Rather than acknowledging his shortcomings and committing to improvement, Jason chose to deflect the blame and make derogatory comments about the women on his team.
We've embarrassed male chefs all over the world today. There's no way in hell I'm losing to girls again. That ain't happening.
He vowed to never lose to girls again and even referred to them as little kids. I feel like I'm on the verge of throwing up. And again, haven't even mentioned his food yet. Jason's behavior continued to be problematic not only in defeat but also victory. After a challenge win, he displayed a hell of a sexist and condescending attitude.
I don't think the girls have a clue what they're doing. What do you expect without a man over there to lead them, of course?
He claimed that women didn't know what they were doing without a man to lead them. But he didn't stop there.
A room full of girls, I mean, that's useless unless, what are they having, a Tupperware party over there?
Dude was really living in the 1950s, wasn't he? In the very next dinner service, Jason's issues continued to persist.
Just touch that. It's stone cold and it's raw.
Chef Ramsay spotted raw halibut and witnessed communication problems with Petroza, disrupting the ticketing system. Despite these challenges, the blue team emerged victorious, highlighting the dysfunctional dynamics in the kitchen. Jason's behavior both in success and failure showcased a lack of sportsmanship and divisive attitude that created a toxic atmosphere within the competition. But that wasn't all. Jason's continuous display of misogynistic tendencies kept spilling during the chicken cutting challenge.
We're gonna win because we're men. This ain't the Dustin housekeeping challenge here.
He arrogantly declared that the victory was assured because they were men. However, almost comically, the men suffered a significant loss to the women, emphasizing that skill and teamwork were much more critical than gender. In the subsequent dinner service, Jason's performance continued to sink even further.
The soufflés looked like muffins in a cup. I don't know desserts, but I know they would not come up for nothing.
Especially at the dessert station where he struggled with preparing soufflés. Soufflés are notoriously challenging to master, and Jason's inability to get them right contributed to the downfall of his team. The famous chef, frustrated by Jason's consistent failures, ultimately decided to eliminate him from the competition.
Good night.
In the end, Jason's overconfidence and inability to deliver in crucial moments led to his departure from Hell's Kitchen. But that wasn't the only signature dish challenge that didn't go quite as planned. So, Matt Sigel was the 6th contestant in line, all set to wow Chef Ramsay with his masterpiece. Matt proudly presented his exotic tartare dish with a secret bold combination. Now, you'd expect this mix to blow Chef Ramsay away, right? Well, not so fast.
Oh, stop. Let me just get this right again. Either that or I'm just about to be punked.
Yeah, that's the level of shock I'm talking about here. The famous chef questioned Matt with something that sounded almost too crazy to be true.
Do you smoke?
Cigarettes?
No.
I mean, who could blame him? Now this is where things took a turn for the worse. Despite the horrifying presentation, Chef Ramsay mustered up the courage to taste Matt's creation. But boy oh boy, was it a disaster. Within seconds, Ramsay went from trying to keep it together to full-on gagging and spitting it out. It was so cringeworthy I could barely watch. What's more, Chef Ramsay then went on to claim that it was even worse than he thought.
One of the worst combinations I've ever tasted. 21 years of cooking.
But here's the craziest part. Despite Chef Ramsay's harsh verdict and the dramatic reaction to his dish, Matt couldn't quite wrap his head around it.
Chef Ramsay didn't like about the dish. I'm a little boggled on that.
Dude, seriously? Talk about overconfident. Clearly, the signature dish challenge didn't exactly earn Matt the standing ovation he was hoping for. Instead, it left everyone, especially Chef Ramsay, grimacing in disbelief. Sometimes, the kitchen can be a brutal reality check, and Matt was definitely on the receiving end of that. But now, take a wild guess. What could be worse than this horrible combination Matt came up with? So, in Season 7, Chef Ramsay observed a batch of mashed potatoes that went well beyond being runny.
There's our mashed potato. There you f***ing go.
It's incredible that these geniuses managed to turn a solid into a liquid. Anyway, this dude Andrew was super into his garnishes, like laser focused or something. To the point that he was giving direct orders.
Fuck him, darn. Stay right there. Stay hot.
We've got a real food whisperer on our hands. And no, he didn't stop there.
What the fuck are you doing? Go away. Go away. Go away. Go away. Go away.
Yup, he legit shooed away Mikey after Ed called him a total maniac. Sometime later, he was bugging Benjamin about the salmon time, but sous chef Scott was like, bro, garnishes first. Dude was in a rush and clearly didn't know how to manage everything in one go.
Tell me how salmon is. Tell me how something is. Please talk to me.
I want to make sure the garnish is ready.
Holy shit, yes, chef.
He then told Jay to get those mashed potatoes out for him. He was speeding through the garnish prep, but when the mashed potatoes came back all watery, he freaked out. And in a moment of panic, guess what he did?
Don't add it! Oh no!
Why?
He grabbed the batch, started mixing it with a new one, and Chef Ramsay, who happened to see this atrocity, wasn't having it. What followed next was total kitchen chaos. Andrew really couldn't figure out what he did wrong. The famous chef only had one thing to say in reply. He straight up called him an idiot. Maybe Andrew was LARPing as a deaf person for some reason.
You put the thick stuff in, you add the runny to it.
That was a brilliant idea, chef.
You think this is funny, don't you? So we're serving liquid fucking mashed potato.
While Chef Ramsay's frustration started to peak, Andrew showed no signs of slowing down.
That's not true.
Man, this guy, damn, he's just crazy.
But all hell broke loose when Andrew made a rather snarky comment.
And now you're gonna tell me I can't cook in a saute pan?
At this point, Chef Ramsay lost it since Andrew just wouldn't shut up.
Get out. Yeah, fuck off. You don't care, you got no respect, you're a fucking joke to the industry. Yeah.
Ouch. But that definitely wasn't the end of the story. Back in the dining room, Andrew was about to bail when Jean-Philippe tried to talk him into staying.
That man asked me to leave and you expect me to stay here?
JP tried to convince him that Chef Ramsay was only trying to test him, and there were tons of folks who would kill to be in his spots, but Andrew's response was shocking.
I mean, take my shoes. I don't need this. I'm walking out these doors.
Yep, he kicked off his shoes, told JP that anyone eager for his shoes could have them, and bounced out of Hell's Kitchen for good, right out of the front door. In his exit interview, he had many complaints to share. Andrew claimed that Chef Ramsay probably saw him as a little jerk. He also said that he didn't give a damn about his opinion before wrapping up his interview with a casual "have a nice day." Well, I guess some people just love to act high and mighty. But here comes a dish that not only left Chef Ramsay speechless, but also came with a jaw-dropping price tag of $300. I mean, seriously? What in the world? Now, let's dive into the drama of the Signature Dish Challenge, where Colleen Cleek stepped up for judgment, landing at the 11th spot in line. Little did she know, her dish was about to unleash a reaction from Chef Ramsay that no one saw coming.
Who's cooked the diapers?
Smoked chicken enchiladas with poblano cream sauce. My name is Colleen.
Since Chef Ramsay couldn't help but make a remark about the dish resembling diapers, Colleen fearlessly stepped forward, proudly owning up to being the mastermind behind it. And now, the moment of truth. What did this bold creator whip up? Check it out yourselves.
What was the size of it?
I feed big Nebraska boys. Would you like me to get you a bite?
No, I'll bite it myself.
Okay, but that looks nothing like a smoked chicken enchilada with poblano cream sauce. Don't you agree? Anyway, brace yourselves now because this is where it gets really wild. Not only did Colleen Cleek present a dish that Gordon Ramsay likened to diapers, but here's the kicker. She had the audacity to charge her customers a whopping $300 for it. Well, not literally for the dish, but for the culinary course that she conducted without ever having attended culinary school herself. Unbelievable. Chef Ramsay, being Ramsay, wasn't one to hold back. He was visibly shocked by the size of her dish, its taste, and of course, the outrageous price tag of her course. In a moment that could only happen on a reality cooking show, he decided it was time to take a dig at her.
Okay.
Without mincing words, Chef Ramsay straight up declared,
You seriously charge $300 to teach people how to make that crap?
Yes, chef.
and just when you thought it couldn't get any more brutal, he humorously suggested that he needed some plastic wrap for his rear end. Ouch. It left everyone wondering if culinary school might be a good investment after all. But now, here comes the comeback of the century. So, after feeling the sting of Chef Ramsay's critique, Colleen wasn't about to take it lying down.
I teach manners too, chef.
Say that again?
Talk about nerves of steel, or maybe just a dash of overconfidence. She decided to fire back at him, and I don't have to tell you how bad of an idea that was. But Chef Ramsay wasn't about to let that slide.
Okay, please, Miss Manners.
Without even missing a beat, he hit her with a nickname that's pure Ramsay genius, Miss Manners. Seriously, this man doesn't need a second to think things through. He just spits out these crazy nicknames right on the spot. Can you think of any others? Make sure to drop those names in the comment section down below. Also, let's get creative. If Chef Ramsay ever gave you a nickname, what do you think it would be? Wrong answers only. Meanwhile, just when you think it couldn't get any better, Chef Ramsay went full-on iconic with his signature move, yelling right in her face.
Off back in line.
Now that is how you shut down arrogance. I mean, let's be real, she might have lost a few aspiring students who were considering training under her after that little stint on the show. Call it karma at its finest, or just a moment of unintended chaos, but it was undeniably hilarious to watch. Now, let's get back to some more disgusting moments. The most undebatable moment that got everyone frowning, contestants and viewers alike, was the infamous spaghetti that came straight out of the trash and onto the pan. No points for guessing this one because what Jen did was unforgivable.
We had an order for spaghetti and I threw out what we had and I decided to retrieve the spaghetti from the top of the garbage and washed it.
I mean, how can you serve customer food retrieved from the garbage? Would you do the same thing back home, Jen? Fortunately, Julia was around to prevent this gruesome crime from happening.
Where'd you get it from?
The garbage on the top.
No way.
However, she got lucky because Joanna had committed an even more significant sin in the same damn service.
It's fucking rancid! How can you do that?
No doubt, Jen's defense of her decision to pick spaghetti out of the garbage on Hell's Kitchen raised some serious eyebrows.
Washed it. 212 kills the bacteria. I decided to serve it.
And what was her defense? Much after the show, she dropped an excuse saying, "People have no idea what we're going through here."
You can't just do anything in the heat of the moment.
While stress can indeed be overwhelming, serving people food salvaged from the trash bin is certainly an extreme and questionable choice. It's moments like these that leave viewers shaking their heads and wondering what level of stress are the contestants on Hell's Kitchen being put through. So, can you think of more disgusting moments from the show? And if Jason was any indication, it doesn't even need to involve food. Don't forget to let me know in the comment section down below. And if you found that this video was crazy, then don't forget to check out my latest video right here since it's even crazier.